Hello, I'm Diaspora.
Here, coming back to the country and smelling the, breathing the air and seeing the beauty, seeing what's in it, seeing what it really is. Because when you're not here, you don't see it. It's impossible. When you come, you can't believe it. Period. And so it's like, I think like the work that Dinus is doing, that you are doing, your wife is doing, everyone is doing. I think that is the first step. It's the most important step, because after exposure comes action. Our people, even over there, we act in high sedity because we got some European educations and we can talk English good, we got clean houses and we can drive around in cars. We actually think that we gotta go save the world. We on some bullshit. We need to even know how to save ourselves over there, you know? And so it's like I always say, we don't need, Africa don't need us as much as we need Africa. We need to humble ourselves. There ain't nowhere in America where we can get land like we can get here in Sierra Leone. We need to humble ourselves.
Nowhere.
You know? And people want to be compensated for what has happened to us. But we don't understand that the people haven't been compensated for what happened to them. So if we don't find a way to work with our people who have the same exact demands as we do, then we're going to miss. That's what's happening in America with ADOS versus Pan-Africans. We are compartmentalizing fragments of the struggle and then using it to fight each other.
I have something to ask both of you. I've heard you speak of this on your show.
Go ahead.
And we've spoken about this. When people say, well, I don't mess with those Africans, they don't love us, they don't like us, and they sold us into slavery. How come they never came and got us?
Yeah.
What are both of your viewpoints on that conversation?
Go ahead.
Okay, let me get it to you like this, man. I hear a lot of things people say, man, and every ideal that we have about Africa is fed to us, unless you come here. And just like every ideal that they have about America is fed to them before they go there. Let me first realize that. And then at the end of that, we say, wow, who benefits from these ideals? Who benefits from African people having that ideal about themselves? You understand? The reality is that you can't be sold as a human. We were captives. Captives are exchanged in war and held as prisoners of war all the time. What those people did to us after they gained us from captivity, those Africans aren't responsible for. I say that because it's like, I can give you my car and my keys and say, yo man, here, fine, drive the car. But then at the end of the day, if somebody comes along and steal the car while it's in your possession, did you steal the car? There was something happening here. There was war here. We were having fights, but the only reason why we was having fights was because we were being invaded by land and sea. From the north, from the east, and from the west. That's why the bulk of the population here was not originally positioned here. It was positioned more northern. They fled here. So this was a population that during the times we saying slave trade, our people, it was just arriving here. It was just arriving here. It was just arriving here and people were being body snatched. They were snatching people. They snatch your child and it's gone, it's over. Yes, and they do it now. It was the same thing like when they had the Civil War here. So when you understand the conditions of peace and the conditions of war, and you realize that we're at war, you won't impose peace conditions on our circumstances. You would say, well, damn, if this is a war, how should we organize ourselves properly? You understand, eh? So that's how I see it, man. At the end of the day, bro, I think that in terms of doing business, like you're saying, like when I first came here, the way that I defined my first 2 to 3 years here, man, was visibility studies. I was doing market assessment. Because if you don't know this money, you won't understand. You can feed thousands of people with small American dollars invested properly. And just for your heart, to cool your heart and say, well, man, at least I know 1,000 people eating partially because of me. You know what I'm saying? It's real like that here. Some people don't go. Some people go sleep without food, man. It's real like that here. The government don't want to show you that. If I'm your brother, I'm gonna tell you that. You understand, eh?
Well, I see it myself.
And so when we talk about economics, we're looking at saying, well, damn, what kind of businesses can create more jobs and create more profits? What kind of businesses that can create more jobs and more profits? Not in America, in Sierra Leone. And in order to do that, you have to ask the people. You have to go meet them. We have to have a conference, convention. Another thing I think is very important for us to do, among us, the diaspora who are coming back with these ideals and these interests.
Say it again.
I said among us, those of us who are coming back from the African diaspora.
Okay.
We're coming back, and of course we want to be philanthropic. You know, we want to take my shoes off, give it to the person who ain't got none. That's natural, man. But just think about it. You do that? Did you do that in America? You see a homeless person in America take a no. You understand that? But you come to Africa and do them because something in your mind tell you say, this is a charitable place. I forgive charity in Africa. Don't charitize Africa.
You got to repeat that again.
Don't make charity out of Africa. We have to come back as business partners. We have to come back as people who are mature.
Well, with that statement, do you think that it is beneficial to do both because you will be constantly asked for charitable actions?
Well, the thing is that
constantly.
Well, you know what charity is? Charity is when I have sympathy or empathy. Maybe I've been in a bad situation. I've been homeless before. I see somebody throw you out the door. I come through, man, help you out a little bit. That's natural. But charity is when you actually make a whole campaign around giving to people who don't have, they have less. And it's okay. But you got to realize, me, I grew up on welfare. My mother taking me to Salvation Army to get Christmas gifts. You understand that? We got Christmas from Salvation Army. So I know what it is to be a charity recipient. But here, and you know about the negative feelings it gives you when you're receiving that charity. Makes you feel inferior, makes you feel, bad. And so we cannot take the approach of saying, well, you need my help. Here, take this. And then they go do what they want with time. No, we have to be more responsible. Charity, I will come and just bring everything and just give it out randomly just to feel good about giving it out. But if we said business partnership, now business can be done for profit or not for profit. Like for instance, I have a nonprofit company here, the Gullah Redemption Mission Sierra Leone. We do a lot of charitable works, but within the process, it's not just for charity's sake only. We transfer skills and talents and resources to the people that they can use long term. I'll teach you something. We teach you how to take care of disaster-prone areas. You're going to teach your children that. Your children are going to teach your children that. That's what we mean by sustainable wealth, not money. What we can do voluntarily for ourselves will save more money than we could ever spend. That's my philosophy. So I think that if we have a community approach, even among ourselves, we got to click up, man. We got to come together and say, man, look, this dude, I don't think he make the cut. This dude, he make the cut, and be serious about it because the ideology that we promote is very important. It has to be sharper than anybody else has ever before us. We have more responsibility than Malcolm. We have more responsibility than Garvey. We have more responsibility than all of them. This is the 21st century. We late, and we way behind. People who were colonized at the same time we was colonized, like China. Look how they move in Africa.
Right.
China was colonized by the same British as Sierra Leone. Y'all know that? So what is it that makes these people go before? One thing is that they never had a transatlantic slave trade.
I think a lot of it too is, and we brought this up before, it's just, I don't know what it is with black people globally in this sellout culture. I know there's no code of conduct and it's just a sellout culture. I think that's part of the reason too.
I'm telling you, but
because you know how Chinese got down in the Chinese Revolution, or Cultural Revolution.
They did away with all their trades.
But you know what it is also with them because you have Asian and Chinese is part of Asian, and all Asians do not click all the time, but when it comes to dealing with the world, they will. So you have the Asian Businessmen's Association. That includes Japanese, Chinese, Thai, Vietnamese, you know what I'm saying? They will all come together for certain things, and us as Africans, we need some kind of unified concept. But I think the religion made it difficult for us to do that. Our loyalty to the Europeans' religion has made it so that we will put that before this. You know what I'm saying? And Asians will not do that.
So black people, especially in Africa, they haven't caught on, or I think they have, but they're playing ignorant, that we're in a race-first society.
They don't understand.
And but I think they choose not to.
You know why they don't understand? Because in America, we know, because they actually systematized the concept of race in a way that they didn't do here directly. You know? Man, it used to puzzle me too. Don't they understand? Don't they know that's the devil? You know that? Mm-hmm. And when you sit down and talk to them, they say, yes, they understand it when you give it to them right. But if you don't spark the conversation and give them the information, they may never think of it. You understand? Because they don't have that relationship with white power the way we have relationship with white power. Every day. Most of your teachers growing up, white folks. Most of the people you see with money and the things that you aspire to have in your life, white folks.
Police.
You understand? They don't have that area. They see police, they see their brothers. You know? Most of the people that they can point to and say, this person is bad, they did something bad, it's black people like them. When they say, well, who did good? It's them little white charitable people come here and give their charity with no sustainable institutions.
All right.
You understand? So there is no African-centered education happening here in the way that we know it. You understand? And so these are some of the ways we can innovate as well. You know, it's not just about making money. You know, it's not development is not only a money question.
Right.
Resources are not just money. You know, and so at the end of the day, bro, that's what I mean by all of this. It's like our people don't understand, and if we don't watch it, we're going to judge them without understanding why they don't understand. It's the same thing that happens in the States, man, or anywhere else where we at. The diversity of ideals that the masses have are not necessarily their fault that they have them, but it's their responsibility to address them. And it's our job as the conscious to awaken the unconscious. That is our fundamental job, period. And say it, do it, to make sure that people who may not have never thought about Liberia and the relationship there, they can go and go search for Uhuru and watch for 20 minutes and get an education they can't get in no institution on earth. You understand that, right?
That's real talk.
Like that's why I said this is so very important. Our people, we have to turn Africa into the university. This has to be a university for us. We should be here learning more than we think we teaching people, man. We need to be learning, man, because let me tell you, we say, Shalom needs education. Education has to fit your society. This society is non-industrial. It's pre-industrial. There's not electricity for everybody. There's no factories. You're saying jobs in factories, where they at? Everything is still raw. So one man's trash is the next man's treasure. It's almost as if this place is preserved specifically for us, who might have not wealth, but we got small.
We got enough to get the job done.
Yes, and the thing is that the cooperative form of business investment is needed among us. Yes, it's needed among us. And we need to teach financial literacy to the people here. They understand getting money, but they don't understand what to do with it. Very rare do I find people who actually know how to save this and budget. Basic financial stuff. These phones, we have a STEAM program right now. These phones are like little computers. Everybody got phones. People will kill you here for a phone, man. But they don't know how to use them. They just want to hurry up and sell it for $200,000, $300,000. They'll take your phone that's worth $5 million and sell it for $200,000 because they don't understand the value. And that's what's very important. The Europeans did a lot here to make sure that these Africans will be confused about themselves and us. And it's a universal thing. They don't understand that we are race first. When we come back, we different than them and the other Africans they're used to. There's been Africans coming with Peace Corps, independently for a long, long time.
Religious organizations.
They confuse us for them. They don't know that we're the Garveyites.
Right.
They don't understand. This is the whirlwind. Garvey had 3 places he was headed to: Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast. So these are the 3 territories we're gonna take first. So, like what you said, coming together from different parts to reconquer Africa. Because right now they're having a scramble for Africa. It's always been a scramble for Africa for hundreds of years.
Right.
How do we stop that and halt it? You can only do it here. You can't do it in their lands. You can only do it here. You can only do it by going down to the grassroots where the original source of that old tower is at. Go meet that paramount chief. Explain to him why you're a Garveyite. Tell him you gotta be raised first. Show him the benefits of it. Say, listen, man, stop trading with them Chinese, man. I'm gonna go get 50 people in America. They all gonna invest $1,000 a piece. We're gonna come remove these Chinese from here. We have to be contending. We have to say, we want this. Right. Let's go. And so people like us, when we out here on the ground, you know, we really need the platform and the resources to be able to implement for our whole race. It's not personal. People think it's personal.
So when you say platform, what do you mean platform?
I mean by platform, political platform. Space that we can sit down and deal with our political issues.
So you mean an edifice or something like the brother Dinus here?
Well, that's a media platform.
Media platform.
Social media platform. Yes. Well, platforms of all kinds. Media is power. Let me tell you. People say that we don't. Black people in America don't have government. We don't have military, police. You're right. But there's certain forms of power that we do have access to, and certain forms of culture that we have mastered past any other people on earth. And influence can be powerful. So we have to know how to use all of our strengths to be powerful. You know what I mean, eh? And so this media platform, before I left the United States, people wasn't doing this vlogging, man. I'm like, yo, I'm hyped. Because I came into the struggle before internet. We had to read the books. We had to go see Dr. Ben. We had no choice.
Me too, man. I did it.
We had no choice. We had to know him. We had to actually get the information.
Been to the lectures.
And sometimes,
studied and
exactly. Sometimes we look back at the golden era.
collected books.
We can look back at the golden era as people who experienced that, and then we look at people like Dinus where maybe he ain't experienced that, and be like, man, what do you know? All right, man, I ain't never seen him at no Afrocentric event. You know it. I'm telling you.
What in the actions? So I never met this brother, and when I first saw him, I was like, all right. At first, I was just like, okay, I like the brother because he's doing fly shit.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
That's all good.
Okay, he's doing fly shit, but then when I saw him getting initiated, I was like, all right. So he knows he's not bullshitting. This ain't just about, oh, check out, my travel channel. It was like, nah, he ain't fucking around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's strapping up.
Political conversations and his ideologies, I was like, all right, well, now I gotta meet this brother and see what's really going on. And I could see that he was really about it.
Everybody in Africa is initiated into something. Mm-hmm. Everybody went through some form of initiation. 12 years old, 11 years old, birth. They have ceremonies that happen to you throughout your life to make you a part of the society that you belong to. Us coming back, we ain't had that shit. Mm-hmm. So when we come back, that's the first thing we supposed to get. Why? There's a security in that. You're not safe if you come back over here and you don't strap up. When I say strap up, I'm talking about spirituality. You come all the way home and you don't reconnect. You're not Killmonger. You're not Killmonger. You come back, you don't reconnect with the traditions. You didn't learn the lesson. You don't understand. We will miss our mark if we don't give the cracker back his culture. Throw it in his face and snatch ours, no matter what condition it's in. Some people wait until Africa is free and Africa is booming before they come back.
They waiting for
Wakanda. That's why I said we.
They waiting for Wakanda, yeah. But they don't want to make Wakanda. You gotta make Wakanda. Yeah. It ain't gonna come because by the time, if it's already done, they don't need you.
So it's like in America with gentrification. They cry about the ghetto. They don't find value in the ghetto. Then white people come in, they find the value of it. They start building it up. Then we get priced out, and then we complain.
About it. You know what I mean? Exactly, and that's because it seems like that on the surface, but there's so much going on to destabilize us so that we can't have the unity that we're talking about. Let me tell you, Marcus Garvey, he's my OG. I love Marcus Garvey especially because Marcus Garvey was able to articulate the aspirations of not only his generation, but every generation of Africans before and after him, what we all should have aspired to produce for ourselves. Garvey was doing exactly what you're saying that we failed to do. Back then, 100 years ago, past. That lets you know that those ideals and this movement that we're a part of is a continuum. When we wake up and get new information, we start getting cocky. We think, I know some shit. No, man, we behind. We behind, man. We've been dumbed down. And so, unless we get out and get them actual experiences, we're not gonna know. But as you realize, when China went to formalize themselves into one country, they had to fight a revolution among themselves.
Right.
That's why they had the Cultural Revolution. They had to get the people who still thought like the British sellouts out of there. They had to terrorize them with the state to make sure that they wouldn't even think like that again. You understand?
Right.
And I don't want to see it come to that in Africa or in our community. If I can say that, we have to have a different way to go about it. Like for instance, some people have a natural violent nature. If you remember, Dr. Frances Wilson, she was telling us directly, the European is a different species. Just like you have a Doberman Pinscher and you have a Poodle. They both might be dogs, but they have different natures. And a pit bull is vicious. And the Poodle's a punk. He like to bark, but he can't bite. Can't hurt nothing.
Right.
You understand that? The nature of the European is not the same as the nature of the African naturally. That's why they distort our nature.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation,
you know what I mean?
because that goes even deeper than just two different species of the same animal. We're not even species of the same animal,
well,
and that's a whole nother conversation.
That's why I say I'm being nice.
That's a whole nother conversation.
I'm being nice. I'm being very nice.
And it's been taken even further than that. With your Marimba Ani, Yoruba, and keep the Dogon, where we came from and where they came from. This is, you know what I mean?
These were our ancestors' traditional knowledge. This was their myth. And myth doesn't mean a fallacy. Some of our myth was the best way that we were able to orally preserve what actually happened. And it might even be the safer way, because sometimes if you see how people are changing narratives every day in writing, that would be very difficult in a system where the oral traditionalists maintain secrecy and accuracy in what they say. And so it's very, very different, bro. Africans have always sought to do things more peacefully than to do them by force. Europeans are the opposite. That's what I meant by the nature. Right. They will force it, but we won't. But this 21st century, we have to learn to use the power of force. And that's like, it's almost like we don't want to do it. It's like people really don't want to deal with the consequences of using force. And that's, it's destroying us, man. It's making us look like punks on the global scene. You can see the way that homosexuality, criminality is destroying even the social fiber, even the integrity of those coming behind us. That's why I said, even though Dinus might be a younger brother, but maybe he wasn't around in the 80s and 90s when other older people was there. But it's a continuum. That's what I was saying about it being a continuum. This brother able to come later on and pick up information and then go with it. And that's what people like yourself and your wife, where y'all was digging the crates in the 80s and 90s and shit like that, y'all was doing it for him. I was doing so by the time the time came where his generation needed to pick up some information, it would have been developed. It's not just the people who are the doctors and the scholars and the people who talk fine. It's the ones who put faith and belief in them and then build their ideals with them. We overlook the collective. We like to look at individuals. We overlook the collective. And so, all that to say, brother, is that I believe that Pan-Africanism itself is an ideal that came out of the transatlantic slave trade.
It did.
If we were never forcefully taken to the diaspora, then we would have never been in a situation where we would have had to put together a oneness based on where we came from and the purpose of us being enslaved. We always knew that, man, we enslaved because we black. We knew it was a racial problem. We also knew that black people originate in Africa. So the first people to begin calling themselves Africans as a people was people outside of Africa.
Exactly.
The people here didn't have an African-centered concept about themselves. African origin and nature of doing things, spiritually, culturally, yes. But a political concept? That's what it is. And so when you have Henry Sylvester Williams, 1900, he coins the word Pan-Africanism. The ideals in the movement are way older than that. Way older than that, just like ADOS. ADOS is not a new concept.
No. They want to take credit for it.
It's a new term. It's a new term for a school of thought and a body of Africans that have always been the gatekeepers for white power in America. This is just their resurgence. From Black Lives Matters to ADOS.
Right.
We call them controlled oppositions. These are groups that get funded and get assisted. You see that the media loves them extra hard. Give it 10, 20 years, we won't know the truth about them.
Not even that. I would say after this next election.
Absolutely.
After this next election.
Absolutely.
Pops up
Absolutely.
quick these
I say
days.
that because even there was things going on in the 60s that people didn't know about to the 80s, bro. You know what I mean? People was wondering like, yo.
A lot of the so-called leaders who are in bed with the enemy. Even some things about Al Sharpton just came on. He was working with the FBI. And
Yeah.
He just recently admitted that not that long ago.
Yeah.
That he was working with the FBI.
Yes.
You know, snitching on the mafia.
W.E.B. Du
You
Bois.
snitching on them. You snitching on whoever they tell you.
W.E.B. Du Bois
You know what I mean?
worked as a military intelligence informer
Against.
not against Garvey, before that. This is what people don't understand. World War I, he worked as military intelligence. From his post as an intellectual, they paid him to, propagate, to use his media space, his platform to promote Africans going to fight in World War I. For our community, it was hostile. Like, yo, we like going to fight this war, man. Y'all just shitting on us, man. We ain't gonna fight that war. So they paid W.E.B. Du Bois to use his media space to change that general perception, so more Africans will go to fight World War I.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know about him and Garvey.
You know what I mean? He was paid. And with Garvey, it was more like, I wouldn't say he was like on a payroll, they was giving him money, but he cooperated and he collaborated. It's like if you got a body, I know you caught a body. And I'm going to start talking about you catching that body. I'm dry snitching.
Right.
W.E.B. Du Bois dry snitched on Marcus Garvey, even if he didn't turn the affidavit. And people don't understand that. They think, oh, where's the paperwork? Show me the evidence.
But I mean,
You can dry snitch on someone.
But even in his conversations, he thought Garvey was pompous, this, that, and the other. But you know, this man is creating a movement to empower us.
But Garvey was
as a
pompous.
people.
Garvey was pompous,
Yes,
man. Let
he
me be
was.
honest
He
about
was.
it, man.
He was.
And
He was.
truthfully, a black man who knows who he is and where he's headed and doesn't care if anyone joins him, but has aspirations to make everybody join him. He's an unstoppable force. Garvey had to be bold. You couldn't have to worry about, that's like, if you tough, you got size, you tough. You're not going to suck your chest in because you're around the little guys. Nah, Garvey said we should be grand. We should be in uniform. We should let them know everything they can do, we can do better. And that's what has gone away. We act like we can't do it like that anymore. And we can't. And it's time to do it. You know what I mean? So Garvey had his flaws, man. You know, Malcolm had his flaws. We all got our flaws. Those are technical things for the most part. But when you're talking about getting somebody deported from the United States who leads the largest mass movement of Africans ever on the face of the earth documented, that's a snitch, man. That's a bad
Traitor. That's a
snitch,
traitor
man.
right there.
That's
And the funny thing is that after that, then he becomes an African. Now, so that makes me think, okay, well, was that his next mission?
Well, let me ask you this: if you can't beat them, join them. Isn't that what the white European people did to the original so-called Hebrew people? Same thing. Can't beat them. This faith is so strong that we can't put it out. It's in their hearts. So let we at least control it. They created a controlled opposition. That's where you get the Christianity from. The actual people who first held the beliefs were rebellious. They were a problem for the Romans originally, for the Greeks originally.